Well, hey there, friends. Everything working all right, I think. Sound seems to be working. Stream seems to be on. We are going to get started with some basic kettlebell this morning. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me this morning on the mountaintop for this last kettlebell for beginners. This month, I'm thinking about making this a staple of the week. Every Wednesday, simply doing all of the basic kettlebell moves with lightweight to get started on the week and to, continue helping people finding their way to health and fitness in their own time, at their own pace. For those of you who are watching, my name is Toby. I am 41 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. I do so by minding my sleep. I try to get between 7 and 9 hours in a night. I do so by minding what I eat. I try to eat within my energy balance. I try to eat lots of greens, healthy, whole foods, and I try to hit my protein goals on days that I train with weights like today, so that I support my strength and muscle building goals. There are some things that come into weight training that we'll talk about in other videos, but in general, the goal is to maintain the weight and to grow stronger and fitter over time. These last 4 weeks I've been hiking in the mountains, so my diet and my regime has looked slightly different because I'm on holidays, but we're also active for, I should put it, 5 to 6 hours a day, so there's a different energy profile throughout the day. Makes a difference if you're hiking horizontally across the mountains or if I'm hiking solo up a mountain, for example. So then there's different food needs as well, or different calorie needs, which explains why I haven't been able to shed more fat than I actually have during the holidays. That's a different story. I also show up for training, kettlebell, mobility, cardio, different forms throughout the week, usually judo once a week. It's a different kind of energy expenditure and training. I try to spend time with people I love and care about, do things that I enjoy, all for my health and longevity. So if that's something you're interested in, you go ahead, hit like, subscribe, and we can continue this conversation at any time. This morning we're going to do kettlebell for beginners, about 30 minutes. I'm just going to run through all of the basic moves, and then we're going to add all of that together into a complex, and we're going to do some kettlebell swings, everything two-handed, nothing crazy. With kettlebells, always start light, start easy, master technique, build the conditioning, build the strength before you try to do anything more complicated, complex, or heavier. Always check in with a doctor to make sure that you are cleared for physical practice, and if anything hurts, stop. Simple, okay? Just keep those things in mind before you start any exercise routine, and this is one of them. That being said, 5:49 a.m. We are currently caught in a cloud, and we are going to get started, and probably by the time we're done, the clouds will have cleared. We're going to start with a brief warm-up, which starts with some jumping jacks, and in the meantime, we can talk about our health and fitness, and why health and fitness are so important as we grow older and as we simply age. Because one thing's for sure that I've seen during this holiday is that being fit and healthy is going to pay off, because it allows you to do a lot of fun stuff here on an active holiday in the mountains, for example. So just keep that in mind, that there is a direct payoff as well as a long-term payoff. But generally, I am more interested in the long-term payoff than in the short-term payoff. I think it's important to keep that in mind. Look, I don't need to be a fitness model. I don't need to have a six-pack. I don't need to make my money through my looks and my YouTube channel. I just do this because I think it's fun. And I think there are a lot of people out there who are probably struggling to find some sort of a balance in what makes health and fitness work for them. We're going to start with the basics, with very basic two-handed deadlift. And again, you can be doing this with 4 kilos, 6 kilos. In the beginning, it's not about the weight. It's about getting that tension on those hamstrings, feeling this, tightening the back, using those lats, and then hinging properly with that neutral spine, making sure it's a hinge motion and not a squatting motion. It's move number 1. We're going to cycle through the 4 basic moves. And that's generally also just a good way to do a check-in with your body about where it is. Second motion is a row. Same position. Turn yourself. Stable. Feel it here. Neutral spine. Use those back muscles to lift the weight off the ground. It's like a rowing motion. And again, this is going to help you learn to stabilize that core, keep your body steady and moving. As we go through all of the basics, 5 to 10 times, depending how much time you have. The third one that we need to master is that clean up to the ground and back down. And the momentum comes from the lift I create with my legs. Now I prefer to do this like a deadlift. Okay? You might prefer to do this from a squatting position in a dead clean, but the point is to try to get the weight up so that you can hold it for a squat. So why do I make such a point out of my health and fitness? That's what we're going to talk about in a minute. See, you clean it up and you do those squats. Nice and light, two-handed, racked position. And the last one's going to be two-handed press overhead. And these are simply the basics, okay? And we're going to combine these 5 basic movements into a flow. And you're going to see that that is, in and of itself, already quite the workout, regardless of the weight that you are working with overhead press. And there we go. So what do those combinations start to look like? All those combinations start to look something like this. We do a deadlift, a row, and a clean. Then we do a clean and a squat and a press. So you do a deadlift, a row, a clean, down, deadlift, row, clean, down, deadlift, row, clean, sit down, deadlift, row, clean, deadlift, row, clean. There you're starting to combine these movements together, so you're doing multiple muscle groups, giving your heart a good workout, and slowly but surely working on making yourself stronger and fitter as time passes us by. Okay, then we do a clean squat, press, clean squat, press, clean squat, press, clean squat, press, and the last one, clean squat, press. There we go. This already becomes a bit more of a workout, doesn't it? And we're only 9 minutes in. Okay. Now, the final thing we're going to pay attention to here is we're going to do kettlebell swings. We're going to do kettlebell swings between 5 to 10 repetitions. Kettlebell swing, proper starting position. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Simple. Kettlebell swing starts similar to the deadlift position. Just the weight's not between your toes, but out front. Neutral spine. Feel it here. And the lift comes from the thrust of the hips forward. That will throw the weight up. Make it weightless for a second. And bring it back down. Okay? So let's do that. Again, you do the kettlebell swing. 1, 2, 3. Relax the arms. 4, 5, 6. Let it fall and pull you through at the bottom of its arc. And at the top, see, it is weightless. You can learn to let it go and to feel comfortable and confident. If you're swinging properly, you will notice that the weight weighs nothing for a moment before it draws you back down. Okay, so we're going to put it all together into one full complex and combination. So we have a deadlift, we have a row, we have a clean squat, press, and deadlift, row, clean, squat, press, 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 deadlift, row, clean, squat, press. And that is 1 minute of movement, 50 seconds. And then we move on before we completely catch our breath to those 5 to 10 kettlebell swings. And the way you build up swings is you start with 5, and then the next training you do 6, and then you do 7, then you do 8, then you do 9, and then you do 10. So you repeat this 5 times, and you've got a 10-minute workout on top of the 10-minute warm-up by going through all the different movements. You've done a full body workout, both strength and conditioning, lightweight, nothing crazy, but a proper, decent, full body deadlift workout. So why is this so important to me? Well, 2 reasons. We might live into our 70s or into our 80s. And the one thing I know from everything that I've been reading is that we are not getting a lot healthier as we age. And that's a net negative. One of the reasons for that is that we're neglecting our bodies throughout our 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. So, here's my solution, is to show up every day for 30 minutes and do something for the next 3 decades. As statistically, chances of me being overweight and developing or increasing the risk of developing weight-related diseases are tremendous. It is more likely that I do than that I don't, so to speak. Third set is going to come up in a moment. And I want you to just think about that for a moment. Here on these mist-covered mountains with me, is that because of the way we live our lives today, we are more likely to develop diseases and discomforts that are completely avoidable because we don't challenge our bodies enough and build the right kinds of stamina and strength throughout the decades where we can. I'm not saying life's easy. I'm not saying that this is the most important thing in life. But I do think that Health, for me, comes first because it's the foundation of everything else. It is the foundation of everything else that we try to do in life. Simple as that might sound, right? And it doesn't take much. It takes a good sleep regime. It takes good food habits. And it takes good movement habits. Not even exercise, just movement. To be healthy, okay? Not even fit. You don't need to compete and win the CrossFit Games or a High Rocks competition. The only thing you need to be able to do is carry your groceries home from the supermarket at 75. So a 4-kilo kettlebell and a loaded carry is going to be more than sufficient workout for you, if that makes sense at all. Okay? And some more swings. There we go. And now finally, the final set here. And then we're going to show you some one-handed swings and one-handed exercise, which are a continuation of the basics. But the basics are simply doable 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 kilos. Deadlift, row. And some people might be wondering, well, shouldn't my deadlift be heavier? Shouldn't I be doing more weights? What about progressive overload? And I 100% agree with everything you're thinking and saying. For different health outcomes or for different physical outcomes, there are different programs. Like I said, my training goal is to be able to carry a grocery bag home from the supermarket when I am 70. Now, I don't know what that might seem like to you, but that does not involve deadlifting 160 kilos, squatting 160 kilos, which is twice my body weight, pulling up with 40 kilos tied to my body, etc. Okay, let's do some one-handed variations so you can see the difference. We're going to start deadlift with a kettlebell weight, one side, and you lift. And now to clean for here, I would always advise against doing a dead clean as the weight goes heavier due to personal experience. Properly clean squat. I'm not going to do a press because I have a shoulder issue that requires me to rest and retrain the mobility in the shoulder, and it acts up when I press heavy. So deadlift single-handed. So everything still with two legs, gorilla row, and swing it up. Set it back down. Oh, and there we go. The final one. Deadlift, row, and dead clean. Squat, and down. Okay, so that's where this progression goes, including a overhead press, if you want to. And all of this builds up, right, over time. So you build up different strengths and motor skills. To, for example, single-handed swings. Which are great for your core as well. Swings are great for your core, but these single-handed swings are even better because you're forced to work against this rotation. And now you get the swing and the deadlift. The reason I emphasize deadlift is because the lift or the swing, more or less the same movement. So once you start swinging a lightweight comfortably with two hands or with one hand, you start to get into the space where you can start to do all kinds of fun things. Because you get to do this continuously. And you'll see that given the weight, 5 repetitions is more than enough. You can do this on the right side as well, right? So we have a one-handed swing, a one-handed pull, and then a clean and a squat. And we put it back down. So that's where this very basic complex will take you. Let's repeat it again. It's very simple. deadlift. We have a row, clean, squat, press, deadlift, row, deadlift, row, clean, squat, press, last one, deadlift, row, clean, squat, press. And I'm going to go into the swing again. And we're nicely coming up on those 30 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to do this one more time, just to get the hang of it, and because the world's turning absolutely beautiful. And if you dropped by and you found this useful and interesting, go ahead, hit like, subscribe, go over to my channel. You can see I've been here quite regularly. I'm available to talk about health and fitness, usually on Sunday mornings, a couple of hours on stream. Deadlift, clean, deadlift, row, in, row, deadlift, row, deadlift, row, and we're good. Final set of swings. Just stick to the basics, right? Just stick to the basics. Two-handed, proper starting position. 1, 2, 3, plank at the top. 4, let the weight pull you through at the bottom, and use that momentum, that thrust of the hips. To get the workout done. I'm going to grab a cup of coffee and sit out here. I'm going to start a little podcast live stream in a bit. If you're interested in chatting more, talking more about health and fitness. For those of you who did drop by to watch, thanks for dropping by, saying hi, appreciate that. I hope you're well. I hope you stay well where you're at in the world. And I hope this day will be a good one for you and yours. Remember, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. This person we are today is going to help us get to where we want to be tomorrow. So a bit of kindness to ourselves is going to go a long way. There are enough people out there who want to put us down, so we will lift ourselves up. And the only way to get anything done, friends, is by showing up and doing the work. So I will see you tomorrow or in a couple of minutes with a cup of coffee and a view and just some reflections on health, fitness, and life. Hopefully with a view of the mountains. Remember, subscribe. I was busy in the chat. I appreciate everyone dropping by. Christopher Multisanti. Could be. I think some people enjoy using it that way. Nicola Thompson, thanks for saying hi. I appreciate that. Wansinga, it is a great view, and I appreciate you dropping by. I hope you're saying hello. This is Austria. Green screen driveway. That will be one thing. I wish this was my general view of life, but sadly it isn't. Barbara Davis. No, it's not. It's a light start of the day, but it becomes a workout if you start working out. But I appreciate you dropping by, saying hi, and I hope you're doing well. And for those of you who are watching still, go ahead, hit like, subscribe. Thanks for dropping by, and I will catch you another time. Take care, friends.